Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to welcome back to another day, the final day of the StarCraft Evolution League, the SEL Season 2 Championship Playoffs, day number 2. It has been an intense season of SEL Championship, and we've made it. We've made it to the final day. We've made it to the semis, and of course, the grand finals thereafter. I'm, of course, your side VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chats, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all. Whew. Again, it has been an intense tournament here, bringing together some veterans of SE Evo and some newer faces, both having success in their own ways. Again, this is StarCraft Evolution, not regular SC2. Everyone always tunes in, and there's always plenty of people asking about it, but StarCraft Evolution is a mod. It is a mod in StarCraft 2 that does pit together Brood War and SE2 against each other in a 1v1 format. This is a mod that's been running for a couple of years at this point, but only really hit the foreign scene, the international scene, last year. Last year, after the big TvZ tournament, we did start hosting events. I say we, Hyper 1 started hosting events. We did see SE Boys step in with Kung Fu Cup, also running events as well. We had some show matches from Bratok's community and from other scenes as well. And it's gotten to the point where we do have our championship. This is the second one, or the first one of the year, the second one period. And we'll see who we're going to crown as our champion. Heading on over here, let's catch up with the bracket. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed, as we have the run of these players. TaeJa, a couple of days ago, it was 2 days ago, we covered day 1. TaeJa to take down Cure 3-1. Rogue took down 3 points. Creator took down Björn, and Classic took down Mana. We had some big results here. Rogue is one of those players that is less familiar with StarCraft Evolution. Despite that, was able to rely almost purely on his SC2 skills to carry him through that series versus 3 Point. 3 Point is now out of the tournament. In my mind, Björn versus Creator was very intense. It was very close, could have gone either way, and because of how the bracket was constructed, unfortunately they had to face off so early on in the quarterfinals, so Björn is also out. I would say that Björn is the best Terran in SC Evo, but now out early in the tournament. It did face off against Creator of all players, and as a result, we have a top 4. It's going to be TaeJa, Rogue, Creator, and Classic. Here we go. So we have an insane lineup. Once again, my big question coming into TaeJa versus Rogue is going to be, how does Rogue perform when he's forced to play Brood War, when he's forced to play SC Evo? As again, that is a style that he's less familiar with. Likewise, we'll see how Creator can compare against Classic. Classic is coming in as the best Protoss player in StarCraft Evolution. He is slated to maybe even win the entire tournament here, and it's going to be tough for anyone to stop him. Oh boy. Este Classic, puppy, Este Classic. So best of luck to all the players. For now, we're jumping into the best of 7. As a reminder as well, the best of 7 is going to be... we're running into our semifinals. As a reminder, the semifinals are going to be best of 7s. They're going to be best of 7s here, so we have plenty of matches ahead of us, plenty of matches to come. Oh boy. So here we go. We're going to be jumping into game 1, and game 1 between TaeJa and Rogue going to be on Maganatha. Also, big shout out in the chat, Gab. Thank you so much for I believe there was for the sub. Getcha, papi. A big shout out to Getcha for receiving a gifted sub, I believe. So thank you so much for the gifted subs in the chat. We do appreciate it, as we are jumping into our initial round of, our initial round of 4, our initial semifinals match. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Maganatha, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran. It is TaeJa. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Brood War Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Here we go, as Rogue and TaeJa are going to be facing off in this best of 7. And I spoke a lot about Rogue and about what we're expecting from him, and again, we'll see how he compares to TaeJa as he's able to embrace the Brood War side of things. But TaeJa, he's also back. TaeJa, he has returned to competitive play, and I say competitive play even in a more broad sense now. He's been competing in StarCraft Evolution for the past, I want to say, almost 2 months, if not 2 months completely now. TaeJa has returned, and TaeJa, he is looking very in form, at least in StarCraft StarCraft Evolution. And fun fact, as of a week ago, he started competing in StarCraft 2 tournaments. So he signed up for our Sparkling Tuna Cup, he signed up for World TV Monday. TaeJa has been competing in more SE2, which has been amazing to see, and he's also looking pretty good. He's looking pretty damn solid in StarCraft 2 as well. He forced a creator all the way to the ace match in their own best of 3, so it was really impressive to see. And we'll see if we get more of TaeJa in the coming weeks, in the coming months. I mentioned this before, I'll say it again, that TaeJa, he's only temporarily with us. Apparently TaeJa, he did he's otherwise waiting for some certain results. He did actually perform an exam to actually become a civil servant. So we don't know how long exactly we have him before he starts his next career, before he starts, his next stage in his life. So we have him while we can. We got to embrace him while we can. While we can, baby, while we can. TaeJa. Meanwhile, we do see across the map, we have our initial hatch gas pool, macro hatch opener here out of Rogue. Lings do fan out. Behind this Rogue, he does stay a little bit in gas here, which makes more sense when it comes to the Brood War side of things. Gas is more important early on to get into either layer tech or to get into Hydra tech. Oh. As working towards early +1. Okay, early Evo Chamber, early +1 Carapace, I would imagine. Maybe melee. Both have their place. TaeJa does dip in, does confirm, does get eyes on the Evo Chamber. So nice scout here from TaeJa. He's aware. He's aware there's going to be an earlier power spike with all these Lings. It is going to be the melee upgrade, not Carapace. Interesting. And back at home, we'll see how TaeJa does open up. We've been seeing a lot of mech out of TaeJa as of late. I will say that. I want to say he played mech against Protoss when we casted his series against Creator. Oh. We'll see if that's the case here as well. As TaeJa does pull away, does back up. Barely saves the Reaper. And do you see what I see? Yep, second factory, he's playing mech. As I mentioned, we've been seeing a lot of mech as of late from the SC2 side of things from TaeJa, and we're seeing it here as well. We're going into Battle Mech, we're going into Cyclones and Hellions. Meanwhile, the lair is already on the way for Rogue. He got into +1 melee, he stayed in gas, going for the lair. With this, we could try to go into Muta play. Remember, you don't need the lair for a Hydra tech, and we don't have a Hydra den yet. So we'll keep an eye on that tech. Otherwise, we're leading into Aspire, we're leading into Mutas. Oh, there it is. There's that Hydra. In the case we're taking into Hydras. From here, we can go into Lurkers. Hellies, they do slip in. They get a couple of drone kills, nothing major. It's going to be 2 drones going down. As Hellions, they pull away. Cyclones are amassing. Oh. Cyclones are building up. And again, so far the Hellies, they're still trading very nicely here. No major surround, they do slip away. Just dancing on and off of creep. Oh, another volley going up. They of course scout the Hydra and they see the research, is aware of the lair. And I'm a little bit concerned because TaeJa, he's ramping up quite a bit. He's gaining a little momentum. Oh, as he picks off more Zerglings. On the way. Hydra production is going to be great and all, but again, once we hit with the Cyclones, Lings, they might even be able to catch him. Never mind. Lings, they do sit by. They attempt to cause a distraction. Hellies, they find one of the Hydras. He wants it. Ooh, straight. Lose one of his Hellions, but the Hydra does go down. He gets one. He's going to get another as well. Lings, they're racing back home. But there's only the one Cyclone. So TaeJa, he has to back off. He has to respect the Hydras. Do I look at the efficiency? Do I 20 Zerglings, 3 drones, and 3 Hydras for 3 Hellions. Oh, a solid trade here from TaeJa. Just bullying back Rogue. Again, the lack of queens early on means that there's less to really stand up to and zone away the Hellions. So that's why we've been seeing so many link kills. This is also, I would say, showing how inexperienced Rogue is. Typically, so how do you stop all the Hellion aggression that we saw early on? How do we stop these 23 links from going down? Well, typically, because there are no queens, sunken colonies. We had a sunken colony a little bit further back here, but again, it couldn't really protect the main entrance, couldn't really protect the production line either, the hatchery. So it is very common, especially from Brood War Zerg, to get a sunken colony here outside of their own natural, and here at their third base as well, to stop and to deflect and deter these Hellions. But that's something that Rogue hasn't done, and he's been paying the price for it. He's been losing a lot of lings, and now Hydras as well. I'll say the side defense is a lot more crucial for Brood War Zerg because of the lack of queens. I think that's kind of how you make up for that. As Overlord goes down, supply blocks Rogue for a moment. As Rogue, he commits across the map instead. He does slip out. TaeJa is racing back home. He does race back. Slanko and Zay do pull away. Oh, and every single Hydra's going to go down. Blue Flame kicks in as well. I got. Not like this, Pappy. Not like this. As that was half of Rogue's Hydra's falling, and now here comes the other half, and now there's no stopping TaeJa. TaeJa, he can move, Pappy. We can just send it across the map. He's just gained too much efficiency over time. He's killed far too many Hydras. 25 Hydras going down. 0 Cyclones have fallen. Only 7 Hellions. Insane trades. And TaeJa, he's done it. He's done it. He will overwhelm. Takes care of all the Hydras. Takes care of all the Zerglings. The Cyclones, Pappy. GG gets called, and TaeJa takes game number 1. GG. Again, just some brutal losses early on for Rogue, just keeping him behind. He wasn't able to deal any counter damage. As we mentioned, Rogue, he is less familiar with Brood War Zerg, and ideally, TaeJa wants to force him to play Brood War Zerg as much as possible in this series. Again, it's it's something that we noticed at the very beginning of StarCraft Evolution, where players didn't really recognize the strength of side defense and the strength of sunken colonies. And if you watch players like Shin, players like 3Point, players like Rumith as well, they are a lot more willing to cut corners by relying on that side defense, by relying on those colonies to be able to defend your bases and get into a longer game state. Alas, Rogue, he's still kind of working through that, but now that he lost the first game, he can pick and embrace StarCraft 2 Zerg. Here we go. Now the ball is in Rogue's court. Let's go as we're leading into Blue Storm. Let's go, baby. Let's go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Blue Storm, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Brood War Terran leading the series 1-0. It is TaeJa. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And finally, Rogue, he can get more comfortable. He is rocking the SE2 side of things, so StarCraft 2 Zerg out of Rogue. But welcome to Blue Storm. Blue Storm is a very unique map, very, very unique. Has a very short rush distance by ground, but we do see TaeJa skirt around the edge of the map instead. There is a very narrow entrance into the natural. You can see here one hex, one pylon wide to go in and out of the natural. eBay block does come in. Cheeky move here out of TaeJa, and he will look to delay the hatchery of Rogue. Let's go. Does go for the eBay block. There's also a ramp coming down into the natural as well. This natural base is more exposed than normal bases here, and we could see TaeJa make use of that. We'll see. As TaeJa is throwing down extra Raxes, looks like he's going for a 3 Rax follow-up. Jesus. Setting up back at home. We're going to be hyper-aggressive. Rogue forcing the unnatural natural. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Rogue expands at the third location. It's a brutal moment. And that's going to mean the aggression here from TaeJa is going to hit that much harder. Oh boy. Now with the 2 Rax opener, he's going to be massing up Marines, and we'll see if he throws down additional Raxes. There we go, Academies on the way. That's going to be for Stim. As a reminder, to research Stim, there are no add-ons for Raxes. There are add-ons in Brood War, but they're a little bit different. They're a little bit more niche, a little bit more unique to certain buildings, of course. And here we do have the Academy to research Stim and to allow for medic production as well, and even Fire Bats, which could come into play. Fire bats, they hit different. Two hit different. That's where he does dip out. TaeJa massing up those Marines. As Lings, they bypass the ramp. Let's go. They bypass entrance. Heading into the mineral line. Do attempt to dive in. For now, going to be zoned away. As TaeJa does zone away those Lings, we'll eventually catch them. And Rogue is actually investing quite heavily into this. We have 10 more Lings on the way. He does pull out of gas. Pulls out of gas. His droning is still very lackluster. And we have TaeJa going for a 2-rack stim move out. Okay, a couple of fire bats are on the way as well. And with the additional fire bats, I'll be honest, it's going to be a tough hold here for Rogue. We'll see how he can handle himself. He's on a helmet. He's gonna have 4 queens, not bad. But the queens are so far apart. Queens are rotated over towards the natural. So thankfully most of them will be there. Not all. As there's still 1 queen in the main. As TaeJa stims in, gets an overlord. Does he head straight for the main base? I mean, the queen's already at the natural. Yeah, the queens, they can't rotate. They're off of green. Yeah, they cannot rotate over. That is a lot of Zerglings, though. A lot of Lings. Rogue is supply blocked. Blaze CC back at home. Oh, Rogue comes in with a surround. TaeJa caught off guard. Late reaction. And TaeJa's going to be cleaned up. Down to 2 Marines. Only 2. With that Rogue, he can now start droning, but he's going for the all-in. He is refusing to drone up. Yeah, no drones whatsoever. He's going for the Link Flood. Link Flood into fire bats, though. Does run into a wall. Oh, gonna get surrounded, but the fire. Jesus, the fire bats, they annihilate those Zerglings. Oh my god. The fire bats were crazy. They were literally one-shotting everything. Fire bats to shut down the Lings, and this all-in has failed. The all-in has failed. Rogue, he is far behind economically. Remember, he chose not to drone. He was going all-in, and now he realizes, oh, the fire bat's a pretty good unit. The Link Flood is not going to work. Not like this. Rogue, he still has another wave of Lings on the way. He's droning up behind this. He is trying to macro out of this as well. But Rogue is far behind. Rogue, he's far behind at this point. Because of all these Lings. How many has he lost so far? 56 Zerglings have gone down. Oh, God. That's a lot of things, Pappy. Now we get the Baneliness. Now we're going for the attempted Bane Bust, I would imagine. But by then, TaeJa, he could just move out across the map. And he pulls the boys. Let's go. He does pull the boys. This is going to be ideal. Pulling the boys can be really brutal against Ling Bane, but there's no Banelings. It's only Ling Queen. So the boys did a great job here, just buffering for the army, tanking for the Marines. So TaeJa, he knows he's ahead, and he's just going for the kill. He's just going for the throat. So really solid timing here from TaeJa. Breaks through all the tumors, gets on top of the hatchery. And the base will go down. The best that Rogue can know for is, yes, the base trade. Runs into more fire bats. Again, fire bats, they trade quite well. Jesus. The fire bats, they win out, they come out on top. They win the fight. Banelings are morphing in. And can we split? Oh. Banelings, they shut down the SCVs. But there's not enough Banelings. Yeah, there's not enough Banelings here. SCVs go down, but the Marines, they survive. Nice target firing. There's 1 Baneling left. And 0 Banelings remaining. Fire bats, they get into the mineral line. We're diving on the queens, and TaeJa, he will overwhelm. GG gets called, and TaeJa, he will take a 2-0 lead. GG. GG, well played, TaeJa. He is up at 2-0. Very strong start here from TaeJa. And so far, both games showing once again some of the inexperience here from Rogue. I'm hoping he can tighten things up here going into game 3 and start somewhat of a comeback here. It's still a best of 7, so we still have more games ahead of us. But the pressure is on Rogue. Oh boy. As we're getting into our next game, Rogue, no surprises here. He is deciding to stick with StarCraft 2. So once again, he's sticking with StarCraft 2 Zerg. That should be Rogue's go-to to try to recover in this series. And I'm hoping that he does take a more macro approach this time. And I feel like we're slowly learning things here. So Rogue, he's like, okay, Link Flood's not going to work against Bio. Firebats just completely shut that down. We're going to be stopping any kind of Link Flood aggression early on. And we'll see how he adapts. We'll see if he even plays Roaches. True, I can see that working. We'll see. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Zerg player. Terran player. We have the Brood War Terran leading the series 2-0. It is TaeJa. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the StarCraft 2 Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg for Team Falcons. It is Rogue. So just TaeJa speedrunning. I mean, that's also, remember, Rogue, he went for a Ling all-in, like he went for a Ling Flood. It's also on Rogue here when it comes to his aggression failing and his attempted all-in failing. Then TaeJa reacted with his own counter all-in, of course. But yeah, Rogue getting punished. He's been getting punished here. We do see once again TaeJa opening up 2 racks. We saw something similar last game. So 2 racks open out of TaeJa. No eBay block this time, thankfully. We'll see how TaeJa brings this all together. With this, we're leading towards another sim timing out of our Terran. Rogue going hatch gas pool, standard opener out of Rogue, and finally able to take his natural base on location. As Marines are moving out, bunkers on the way. The Overlord does confirm the bunker, so alas, Rogue is aware. Does pull the boys. Boys are being pulled to deter this. Queens are still on the way, so TaeJa, oh no, it barely saves the SCV. Does save it, but the SCV is so low. Yeah, TaeJa has to back off. Does retreat, it does back off, and Rogue defense. Rogue has defended behind this. There's the academy, so once again working towards stim, once again working towards that follow-up. We can build up the Marines, we can get into firebats, get into medics once again. Rogue, we have seen so specifically against this build, we have seen a lot of roach play be quite successful against this, getting into early roaches or safety roach production with queen support to be able to get into a longer game state. I do recommend checking out either Shin or 3-point in terms of how to react to this sort of play. And there we go, we do have a very early roach warren out of Rogue. So he's going for a roach defense. It is going to be a bit of an earlier roach warren, bearing in mind that it's so important and crucial that we drone up, that we get a third base, so we have the production, the economy to sustain this roach production. We get there. You can also go for a Ling Bane defense as well, but it's really crucial as to knowing how to drone, when to cut workers as well. As Rogue, he's making roaches early, which means this might not be defensive. He might want to be the aggressor here. Ideally, you do want to drone up as much as you can while you can, get up to at least 2 base saturation, then you get into roaches just in time as the attack moves out. And we get spotted. Here come the scans, spots the roaches. TaeJa knows. And TaeJa's getting ready. Yeah, he sees that we have really early roach production. We have barely any saturation. We have bunkers on the way. TaeJa getting ready to receive. So coming into this, TaeJa is in a better position. Rogue is now trying to redrone. Trying to catch back up. TaeJa moves out. Roach Ravager's in position. Gets a medic, gets a marine. Zones back TaeJa. And again, TaeJa's still ahead economy. Like TaeJa, he still has a better economy. Rogue just took so long to start droning. So still trying to drone up. Thankfully, TaeJa can't really threaten Rogue. Like TaeJa's posturing for sure. He wants tumors more than anything. And also ideally forcing an overreaction at a Rogue. Larry's on the way. Getting to his lair, getting to delayed +1. I say delayed just because the Eva Chamber was really early for Rogue. As Rogue got a position, and Marines, they rotate in, they do get half of the mineral line, which, I mean, there weren't many drones to begin with. So nice big off here by TaeJa. Gets 5 drones. Again, the Roach Ravager was over on the right-hand side instead. Very limited map vision here for Rogue. And Rogue, he's trying to redrone, he's trying to recover. Again, the investment into all these roaches early wasn't really worth it. It set Rogue more behind than anything. And now TaeJa just comfortably building up into the mid game. Thorough TC is on the way, building up his tank can as well, getting to his own biotank army. Remember, the soup does lie. Rogue's army supply is inflated due to the fact that it's roaches. It's very roach heavy, very supply inefficient. But what I can see working here is that Rogue, he could cut saturation, get a 4th base just for larva, work on 1-1, maybe hit... I think the upgrades are a little bit lopsided to go for a 2-2 timing, but maybe just go for 1-1 and just max out and just go for a Roach Ravager all in. Like, there are opportunities for this. So Rogue, he can pull that off. For now, he's still joining up his 3rd. Yeah, he's still got a ways to go. He's droning. 4th base on the way. The other unfortunate thing here, as opposed to, say, when Shin plays Roach, is that there's no setup for Hive. Shin, he's often using Roaches as a stepping stone to get the Hive Tech, whether it's Hive Tech into Lurkers or Hive Tech into Ultras. Here, Rogue, he's very much so set up for a Lair Tech army, and it's go time. So again, 4th base just for larva. He does get up to 3 base saturation, and we're massing up purely roaches, and it's go time for Rogue. No bunkers, no depots, no SimCity. Rogue is pushing in, and this is his moment. Does rush forward, gets up some of the tanks, gets 1, 2 tanks going to be going down. The tanks are exposed, he gets 3. Yeah, 3 tanks do fall. Getting a 4th. 4th tank goes down, and TaeJa will be able to hold on. Losing another tank. That was 5 tank kills. So not a bad attack here from Rogue. He will deny mining at the 3rd. TaeJa forcing the fight within range. Rogue, we gotta respect the tanks. Oh, he's going for it though. He's rushing in. Oh, he gets 1 more. Gets 1 more tank, but he will lose everything. Ay, ay, ay. Most of the Ravagers, most of the Roaches do go down. Rogue is reinforcing, and again, he's all in. We got to keep going. We got to keep pushing. He has to break TaeJa here and now. Behind his Ling speed has begun. Oh, okay. This tells us that Rogue, he believes that he cannot break TaeJa anymore. And at this point, yeah, there's still 4 tanks. There's still 4 tanks left over. Science Vessel's out. A Radiator's available. So the all-in doesn't kill TaeJa. And remember, Rogue, he wasn't running behind this. Like, he doesn't have the best saturation here. So economically, TaeJa's looking good. And, okay. So, Rogue, he has a choice here. He did make 6 drones. He did make some workers. He got an extra gas geyser. He's not joining up his 4th base. He's going into Ling speed for a Ling Roach Ravager all-in follow-up. So he's getting ready for the second wave. This time with Zerglings. Zerglings, they do a great job when it comes to tanking tank shots and actually closing that distance, getting on top of the tanks as well. And Rogue gets supply blocks. Also melee's on the way, 6 overlords on the way. Rogue desperately trying to just break TaeJa. Meanwhile, so far, there's one, soon to be 2 science vessels. Very nice spread with the tanks. Show us how to radiate. There it is, does radiate the Ravager. Ling Roach coming from the left hand side. There's no buffer here. The boys are being pulled. 2, 3, 4 tanks going down. And that's clean up on the tanks. Again, TaeJa out of position. As another couple of tanks go down, but TaeJa holds. And TaeJa, he does hold, he does defend, and the question becomes, does he counterattack? Now would be the time. Oh. Not enough Marines. Once again, not enough tanks. But he does hold. He does hold. He does hold here. Did cost him a lot of tanks though. Again, TaeJa, he had no defensive setup here for his tanks. Going for another radiate. Oof. Okay, dealing splash damage. As a reminder, it radiates that will expire when the unit dies. I mean, it doesn't, and the duration is quite long. I'll split. We're pushing in. Once again, the boys are being pulled. And it looks like TaeJa, he will buffer in time. He'll lose 1, 2 tanks, but he's still fighting within range. Tanks, they pop up. TaeJa, once again, is holding. Takes care of all the Ravagers. Does defend. And the scariest part here is that, again, Rogue still has not droned. He's just now 6 drones. 6 drones are on the way. He's finally droning up. Rogue, he admits that he can no longer kill TaeJa. So he's droning, he's saturating. As this has not been working. Likewise, TaeJa, he has to fight within range of the tanks. So TaeJa's also going to be careful. Pulls away, 4 CC in production, or now being taken. Oh, as a Rogue, he's once again trying to get on top of those tanks. He gets 2. I believe at least, yeah, there we go. He does get 2. But again, it's a costly trade here as he's still pushing into tank range. This is not it, Pappy. This is not it. Doesn't get the 3rd tank. Throws away the army. Respect the tanks, Pappy. Respect them. As Rogue, he just keeps aping into the tank line. And earlier on, you know, he was having some trades at least, you know, getting 5 tanks, for example. But not anymore. At this point, Rogue, he has drawn up decently well, but the tech isn't there yet. Like, everything is so delayed. So we're just now getting him to attempted 4-base saturation. Now we're taking up into a mainliness, into an infestation pit. Rogue needs time. TaeJa kites back. Kites back, he bleeds out a lot of Marines. Nice defense matrix. Oof. Tank still goes down. Still does fall. Going for another matrix. Trying to buy some time. As Rogue, he gets 10 SCV kills, he denies mining. But once again, he's pushing further into the tank line, and he's going to lose the army. They need to respect the tanks. Initially, the fight went well. Like, initially, Rogue, he was able to get SCV kills. Here we go, 16 SCVs going down. He got the first wave of tanks. He was trading with the Marines, but then he just kept pushing forward. He just wants to end that map. Hive is on the way. Hive is on the way. Alongside melee upgrades, it looks like Rogue is working towards ultras. but again, it's all quite delayed. Now, if Rogue can buy time, if he can keep the pressure up, buy time for Ultra Tech, then Rogue, he can get away with this. He can make this work. Oh, as the Ravagers are extended, oh, yeah, the Ravagers and their supports, massive pickups. As those 5 Ravagers going down. And Ravagers are so fragile. They need that buffer, they need that support. Hive is done. Show us what you got. We're expecting the Ultra Cavern, but we'll see. As Rogue just now joins up to 87. Finally does have a solid economy, but it took a long time to get here. And he's still committing in. Nice, irradiates. Irradiates a blanket of Jesus. Oh my god! They blanket the Ravagers. Ugh. And Rogue gets punished. He plummets in supply. We have a couple of Vipers on the way that will help somewhat. Remember, there's no anti-air here. There's no anti-air to deal with the science vessels outside of Ravager piles. TaeJa cannot push out. And the army finally is coming to Rogue. No radiates are ready here, unfortunately. So let's pick up 2 tanks, but that's still pushing into the siege line. Rogue getting desperate. There's the Ultra Cavern, but again, it's a very late Ultra Cavern. Rogue, the whole goal here was to end it early. He failed to do so. And from here, TaeJa's snowballing out of control. He's snowballing out of control. He's moving in. Vipers can pop off. Go for the power bombs. Does go for the power bombs, forcing TaeJa to split. Still moving in, takes down the expansion. Oh. Doesn't quite catch him out. As from here, TaeJa rotates. He just took down the 4th base, now rotating over towards the 3rd. At the same time, Rogue does go for the run by. Nicely done. I mean, this is getting damage done here. The defense matrix, let's go. Just tanks the Vials. The Vials, they do nothing. Ultras, they have arrived. They have no upgrades. They got +2 carapace. Fighting Clouds are doing well. But downgrade the Ultras. And TaeJa can just stim in. He can just stim in at this point. Lings are being dealt with reinforcements. Lings are going down. TaeJa breaks through, gets into the middle line. GG gets called, and TaeJa, he will take a 3-0 lead in the series. GG. Ooh, GG, well played. Once again, we're kind of seeing Rogue kind of figure out like what works and what doesn't in StarCraft Evolution. We were discussing the mass Ling Flood and Ling All-In that we saw in Game 2, which did fall on his face against Firebats. Here, likewise, going for this Roach All-In. Winding it back is, as a reminder, we did see the Roach one was thrown down too early. It did seem like Rogue was maybe expecting aggression out of TaeJa when that wasn't really the case. TaeJa was building up towards that sim timing. Rogue, he got the Roach Warren early, so he cut workers early. He fell behind early, so it was a really rocky start for Rogue. Then he turned that into an all-in, which I would say that initially his trades weren't too poor because he was able to pick off a lot of tanks when he was fighting. He was even able to catch TaeJa out of position a couple of times because TaeJa was too heavily involved on one side instead of the other. But he was being overly aggressive and overextending, pushing too far in. and losing far too much to the line of tanks, to the backup, to the second line of tanks, for example. He would just bleed out too many roaches, too many lings. Didn't feel like he was respecting the tanks enough, unfortunately, and he just fell behind because of his lack of drones. He was cutting workers early. He was staying on a low drone count for the majority of that game. He droned up towards the end, but by then it was too late. TaeJa gained too much momentum. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into game number 4. And we'll see if Rogue can begin the comeback, because he's down 3-0. It's a best of 7, one more loss, and the series will be over. I'm hoping for a longer series, hoping for a back and forth. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Holy World, we have the StarCraft 2 Zerg player. We have the purple Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Pressure is on, and spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Brood War Terran player. We have the red Terran. It is TaeJa. Here we go. And so far, both games that we've seen from TaeJa, we have been going for these stim timings. We're going for, of course, the 2 racks openers into the academy. And looks like we're doing the same thing here with our 2 Raxes. The first one is on the way. We should be soon seeing the second. Now, welcome on to Holy World. Holy World is one of the larger maps of the map pool. I'm glad we finally get into some of these 4-player spawn maps, whether it's Holy World, whether it's Vermeer, whether it is Monty Hall. Sorry, not Monty Hall. The other one. Troy, that's it. But we are getting some of these larger maps, and with this, there's going to be a bit of a different factor coming in. First things first, 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in bottom left, bottom right, top right, or top left as well. TaeJa, he knows that Rogue is either top left or top right. Rogue knows that TaeJa is either top left or bottom left. So again, both players know that bottom right is empty, that there is no player spawning in. What I should emphasize quickly here is that in StarCraft Evolution, on 4-player spawn maps, one of the spawn locations is removed from the player's vision. As in, you can see here the ping, top left and top right. So one of the bases is that there is no ping, to let them know that there is no player in that location, to remove one of the possible spawn locations. It's a way to kind of remove a little bit of the RNG, to give you a better chance to scout. Meanwhile, Rogue going hatch, pull, hatch, opening up gasless. Interesting. Greedy opener out of Rogue. So a greedier start. With this should be for a roach base opener in towards Ultra Tech. Technically, this could be roaches into lurkers. True, both are viable, but we are playing gasless. This is a very common build on maps like this. When you have a very secure third base, you can get away with this greed, you can get away with cutting corners. When I say that, basically with this style, the goal should be for Rogue to wall up the natural, to throw down your Eva chamber, your Roach Warren, to wall up the natural base. And if you're able to do so, you have pocket bases, so you don't have to concern yourself with Hellion run-bys, with Hellion counterattacks, with aggression of that nature. Of course, there are no Hellions here, but like in the similar vein, no like Vulture run-bys or Vulture counterattacks or anything like that. There's only going to be one kind of road or one entrance into all your bases, so Rogue is being greedy. With this, link speed should be skipped, so we skip link speed and then we can spend gas straight into roaches. Meanwhile, we do see TaeJa going for his own quick committed build. We have +1 attack on the way, early academy. We have our 3-rack setup into early stim. There's that Roach Warren on the way, as we did mention. We can see that we're not really setting up any Sim City, but I should also emphasize that the Sim City is typically in regards to Hellion aggression, and that's a non-factor here. TaeJa does move out. Both players have scattered each other, of course. And TaeJa's moving in. Those accuracies are neutral disruption webs. The webs are neutral. Marines move in. There is a spine crawler ready, a couple of queens. And with that, Rogue defends. He does defend, and he is free to drone up even harder from here. He's making a couple of safety roaches, but this time it should just be safety roaches, and then we should just be hammering down that drone key. Laris on the way. Extra gas is being taken. Rogue is unfortunately a little bit supply blocked, but droning has begun once again. Back at home, TaeJa getting into his own bio tank. Oh, Trap, forgot about this, but there is a way in. The Overlord thankfully does scout, does confirm, but there is a way to slip into the bases. I believe that's only for the SCV initially. Yeah, just for the SCV. I hope that TaeJa was aware of that. That basically the gap here is only enough for a worker to slip by, not for a unit. So you can't go for like a Ling Flood, or you can't move in with Marines. Only for workers, and the SCV does get a full scout. Does confirm saturation. TaeJa's parked outside. Here's a scan. Revealing tech. Rogue, he hasn't actually droned up that. There we go. I was gonna say he hasn't really droned up much, but now he's going back into droning. And the game is slowing down. Oh, as Rogue is looking to expand. Okay, this is when Rogue will be the most vulnerable, as drones are moving out to take more bases. Yeah, it looks like Rogue is going to one of these other quadrants. Expands here towards the south. And from here we should soon be seeing, oh, we're not going for the infestation, but we're going for the Nidus Swarm. Okay. Does scan, and TaeJa, does he spot? He does confirm the Nidus. He does see it. He's aware. That was an unfortunate scan for Rogue. But TaeJa, he should now be relying on vision, yet checking all of his fringe locations, checking his pocket bases. But Ravager, there's not that much of it. TaeJa can chase. He can and he will. He punishes the roaches. There's a lot of roaches going down. Nidus over the wall. TaeJa's ready. TaeJa in position. Oh, slipping in once again. Cashing out Rogue. Oof. Losing 2 Ravagers, losing a lot of roaches as well. Rogue, does he catch him out? Trying to. As from here we're backing off, pulling away. Rogue, he is just now saturating. And there's still no further signs of tech here. I assumed that it was just going to be Rogue opening up Roach and then going Roach in towards Ultras, in towards Hive Tech. But no, it's going to be Roach into Ling Bane Roach Ravager, which is a solid mid-game composition. But there it is. There's the infestation bit. Here comes the Hive. Rogue, he's getting there. But again, because of the cross spawns, because of the diagonal spawns, TaeJa can't really apply too much pressure. It's a big map. He is scouting for ninja bases or for more extra expansions. Fans out his Marines. Radiator's on the way, building up more tanks. TaeJa doesn't quite have the army here to push out, not yet. Just waiting for those science vessels. Scans, he sees the Hive timing. Does sim in. Here comes the move out. How many vessels do we have? 0? Oh, okay. Bold move. TaeJa is moving out. He is wedging himself in between the 4th base and the natural. Zoning Rogue in. Ling's speed is not yet done. Yeah, still a couple of seconds away. TaeJa, he can take the fight. Ling's a collapse of the Marines. Tank Boy's going up first. Vessel has arrived. But not enough fire. Yeah, not enough fire here. Ling's, they're getting on top of the Marines. They're getting on top of the tanks. And Rogue, he will take this fight. Does take it. Again, TaeJa fighting without vessels, without his irradiates ready. TaeJa, he was premature. And Rogue, he takes a big fight. I'll say the best fight that he's could have hoped for this entire series. The best fight that we've seen. It's entire best of 7. Cleans up TaeJa. TaeJa, he loses a lot of momentum. He was building up for that moment, but again, he was still too soon. And with that, Rogue will max out. Rogue will max out. From here, he can try to snowball out of control. TaeJa takes a long time to replenish all those tanks and all the bio. Just a really rough fight here from TaeJa. And now Rogue, now he can move out. Now the problem here is that TaeJa, because of the way the map works, TaeJa, he's on 4 bases, and it's very difficult to break into this 4-base setup. Very, very difficult with a ground-based army. So on the one hand, Rogue has momentum, Rogue is maxed out, but Rogue, there's only one entrance, essentially. There's only one entrance into these bases outside of Nidus play or drop play. That's why he's been attempting to do it for the Nidus Worms, but so far the Nidus Worms have not been successful. So again, because of the map, despite the massive lead that Rogue has, he can't really leverage it. Unless TaeJa moves out. A little bit crazy. Calm down, TaeJa, calm down. TaeJa from here should just be backing off and building up his bio, building up his supply. The last thing he wants is to fight out on the map without his tanks. So he does kill the expansion. Hatchery goes down, Spire is on the way, Rogue getting ready for potentially Broodlords. Science vessels, they're hunting down the key units. They kill 1 Viper. Oh my god. Oh no! The Banelings split! Ugh, no splits. No reaction. Banelings getting shot down. Nice irradiates. But alas, ideally he was hunting for all 3 Vipers. And he only got 1. Only found 1. TaeJa once again being active on the map, playing with fire. Viper's moving in. Nidus here towards the 4th. TaeJa, he's maxing out. As you mentioned, Rogue has been maxed for quite some time, but he just can't push into the bases. He can't push into the 4-base setup. Nidus does complete. TaeJa does respond. And TaeJa getting cornered. Yeah, massive catch here. TaeJa completely out of position. He got baited. Massive connections. Baitings, they break through the Marines. Tank count gets reset. And TaeJa, he plummets in supply once again. Ay, ay, ay. Again, he F2'd his entire army to defend against the Nidus. You know, nice irradiates. Second half of the army moving in. We get a decent spread. TaeJa spreads well against the Banelings. Collapse on top of the Roaches. But these are still brutal losses for TaeJa. And now we have to do it all again. What I mean by that, after the last rough fight from TaeJa, he had to just back off, turtle on 4 bases and max out. We're probably going to have to do that again. Where TaeJa just turtles up on 4 bases until he can build up his army for the second time. This is allowing Rogue to not just max out, but build up his upgrades. What do we have? We should be getting Spire upgrades. Second Spire, Spire upgrades, Greater Spire. That should be on the horizon here for Rogue. But for now, he has to remax, true. Building, remaxing. So he's had two very good fights so far this game, but has not been able to capitalize. He may be able to here though. I don't know if I'm too fond of TaeJa being this far out in the open. His tanks are looking very exposed. Very vulnerable to a surround just because of how open the center of the map is. Sure, there are some disruption webs, but that's still going to be less applicable to a melee-based army. To Lingbane Ultra. Oh. Yeah, one vessel goes down. Corruptors have hit the field. TaeJa is heading to expand, but Lings are here to deny the space. TaeJa cannot get a fifth. At least not here. Floating over to the other side. Will make it a little bit easier to defend. And yeah, we can see TaeJa, he is about to max out. He's incorporating a more mech-based composition. He's got Vulture supports. He has Spider Mines that will help against the Lingbane, against the Ultras as well. CC gets forced to be lifted. TaeJa does get behind the mineral line. Another Nidus. Uh-oh. TaeJa is close to maxing out. He's trying to respond. He's racing over. Hopefully he doesn't respond with everything. And Lings, they do trickle out. Vulture's going to be thrown away. Ultras, they commit. Okay, where there's radiates. Does get two. Does get to irradiates. SCVs are going down. Oh, and that's going to be so many dead workers here. 20 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, brutal damage as TaeJa once again does permanent supply. Unfortunately, TaeJa never knocked down these rocks, so it takes so long to rotate the army over. And TaeJa will lose every bio unit. And TaeJa just being pulled apart, just being torn apart here. Bait. Alien's going for the CC. And now with Pure Ling, you can clean up these tanks. Oh, the bio army's still up and running. Okay, TaeJa gets here in time. Does get back in time, does defend. And meanwhile, the Nidus Swarms are still up and running. More CV kills. Ultra's pushing forward. And TaeJa, does he just go for the base rate? Does he just counterattack? Yeah, more Nidus Worms. This also shows the immobility of the Broodor Terran army. Remember, there are no medevacs. There's no medevac boost, I should emphasize. So responding to this is so much more difficult. Nidus Worms are getting up. Ultras are flooding in. And Rogue, he's finally done it. We spoke earlier how difficult it was for Rogue to break the defending turtling Terran, but he's done it. The Nidus Worms, they've gotten up. Gotten up and running. Ultras are getting in. TaeJa sees how far behind he is economically. And these Ultras just free damage. The army is, again, quite late to respond, quite late to react. Again, partially because it is awkward to maneuver between the bases. And TaeJa is just counterattacking. He has to. He has to do something. As it's 42 SCV kills. TaeJa, he will kill a base. Meanwhile, we have reinforcements coming in. Tanks are exposed, getting 1, 2 tanks. Rogue, he does overwhelm. Catching out every single tank, catching out the Marines. There's no army left. GG gets called, and Rogue, he does fight back. He does put a point on the board. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, some really rough fights for TaeJa. There were like 3 brutal moments for him where Rogue was able to gain momentum, take a lead, take better fights, out-trade and out-position TaeJa. I'm referring to the first push from TaeJa when he moved out before Science Vessels, before Irradiate. That was on TaeJa. TaeJa, he went for an anti-timing. Up until that moment, like, he was looking solid, but he lost everything. Lost all of his tanks, lost all of the Marines. He fell far behind, and he was able to back off Turtle and Remax. And then he got caught out of position once again. When he reacted with too much of his army to the Nidus, he got cornered, he got pinned in, he lost half of his Marines, half of his tanks as well, which was a big chunk of supply. And then, of course, towards the end, with the Nidus play, there were no units, no buildings in position. But this is also partially because of the map, because of how the map works, because of how these pocket bases are constructed. It's very difficult and very tedious to rotate back and forth between your bases, especially because TaeJa didn't knock down his rocks. True, you could argue that's a little bit on TaeJa, but he did not knock down his rocks, so it took so long to respond to these Nidus worms. GG. GG, well played. With that, Rogue, he does take the game, and let's go, baby, let's go. With that, we are getting into our next map, Isles of Siren. The best map in the map pool. Let's go, baby, let's go. Now, TaeJa still 1 game away from claiming the series. We'll see if Rogue can recover, as it's been far too long since we've casted together on Neo Isles of Siren. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom head corner of... Wait, what? This is not Neo Isles of Siren. It's just Isles of Siren. Wait, what? What map is this? I mean, it looks the same. We'll see if there's any differences. In the left-hand corner, we have the Brood War Zerg player with the Brood War Zerg. We have the Purple Zerg representing Team Falcons. Down in the series, the pressure's on. Can he bounce back? Can he recover? The comeback has begun. It is Rogue. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Terran player. We have the SE2 Terran. Lead the series 3-1. It is TaeJa. Oh, it's the old Isles of Siren. True. But welcome one and all to an island map. Island maps they've not been a thing in SE2 for a very, very long time, if at all. But here we do feature them in StarCraft Evolution. So basically, where are we? We have our main base, we have the natural expansion, we have the 3rd base, we have the 4th base. That's all you got. You have 4 bases, and you are sealed off on your own island. With these very thin rivers here, you are completely sealed off on your own. Now, because these rivers are thin, there's actually a couple of factors here. Blink Stalkers, it's not going to be a factor in this matchup, but Blink Stalkers, for example, can blink from one island to the other because of how little space there is between the islands. Likewise, you can also warp in. You can get like a pylon or a warp prism and warp in on the other side. Tanks can also support. Brood Lords, for example, and Tempest can also make use of this and fire from the other side, from the other island. So that is a factor that comes into play. But again, there are 4 islands. 4 islands, I guess there are 5. We have top left, top right, and bottom left as well. We have 4 possible spawn locations. The Overlord does confirm TaeJa's location, and TaeJa sees the Overlord as well, so both players are aware of where each other has spawned in. TaeJa going for what looks to be a 1-base all-in. No CC. Okay, very aggressive build here from TaeJa, going ranks into factory, into a delayed CC on an island map of all things. Interesting. Meanwhile, Rogue is going to be quite greedy. He's taking more bases, double gases, no link speed, rushing into lair. This should be a rush into Spire. Should we rush into Spire? Should we rush into Mutas? Meanwhile, TaeJa, he can turn this into an attempted 2-1-1. He's going for a 1-1-1 on one base, does not expand. Interesting. But very quickly, there's also an island in the center. There's also the island in the center of the map with extra gases, with extra minerals, which we can also fight for if the game goes on that long. I say if because it does look like TaeJa is going for the all-in. So he's going to be reactoring at Marines into, I would imagine, add-on swap into reactor medevac production. And we'll see what he has to work with. Yep, there we go. Add-on swap, medevacs are on the way to go for the drop. But these are going to be vanilla Marines. Like, am I convinced by this instead of a 2-1-1? Like 2-on-1s hit with Stim, 1-on-1 does not. So we're going to have Marines, we're going to have a couple of Hellions. Is it going to be enough? Rogue, he knows. I mean, again, he sees that there's no base. Like, he's scattered with the Overlords. He sees no expansion. Rogue, he's getting ready with Zerglings. Spire is on the way. TaeJa, he's on a timer. This has to work. Let's go. Does load up. I believe he loaded up some SCVs. Yeah, he loaded up some SCVs as well. They hit a buffer. They hit a repair. And again, it's all or nothing for TaeJa. It's reinforcing with Liberators. And with a second drop, or with a third drop. He's moving in. Lings are ready. And Rogue is in position. Cannot unload in time. And Rogue is defending. The Spire's almost done. Okay, there's the unload. Toss unload, but there are so many Zerglings. And again, this is meant to catch the Zerg player off guard. It's not. It has not. With that, boys are being pulled. TaeJa gets surrounded, and this build is falling on its face. We have reinforcements. Muta production has begun. Oof. Mutas are on the way. Rogue, he should be able to shut this down, and he is. Again, Rogue, because of the scout, he responds, he reacts. Now there's a Liberator. How many Marines are there? 8. Jesus. 8 Marines against 8 Mutas. The Mutas, they can just fight head on. And there is medevac support, which may help. Are the medevacs going to be enough? Nah, they're not. Every Marine's going to go down. With that, Rogue, he will be able to continue his comeback here. He cleans up the entire army. GG gets called. The one base all in fails. And Rogue does put a point on the board. GG. GG, well played. Rogue, the comeback continues to momentum, still in favor of our Zerg player. Again, winding it back, this build that TaeJa went for is heavily reliant on your opponent not scouting you. Unfortunately for TaeJa, Rogue, his Overlord went straight for his natural, went straight for his island, and Rogue, he saw there was no base. He saw there was no expansion, so Rogue knew to make purely Zerglings. He knew to just respond with very early link production to make sure he didn't die. Otherwise, if he didn't scout, if he didn't know what was going on, then he would have been droning. He would have been droning, the drop would have arrived, the one base all in would have hit, and there would have been nothing to defend except for drones. So I can see this build working, but not if it gets scouted. And alas, Rogue did scout. With that, we're getting into our next game. We're getting into game number 6, and we'll see if TaeJa can recover here as we're getting into our next game. Ooh, we're going to be loading into Sylphid. Okay. We're going to be loading into a 3-player spawn map. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Sylphid, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran leading the series 3-2. Still one game away from claiming the series. It is TaeJa. And spawning in the top side, we have the Brood War Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg for Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Go. As coming into this, I do favor TaeJa coming into a more standard map against the Brood War Zerg player that is Rogue, just because we were emphasizing this at the start of the series, and I guess continuing to harp on it a little bit, is that Rogue is a lot less experienced and a lot more unfamiliar with the Brood War side of things, so he's going to be that much weaker as the Brood War Zerg player. But we'll see how TaeJa's approach this. I would hope that he doesn't go for an all-in. I mean, aggression can work quite well, but at the same time, like, TaeJa also have some confidence getting into the mid game, getting into a more back and forth here against Rogue. We'll see if he does. We shall see. As Sylphid is a 3-player spawn map, so you can see Rogue is scouting bottom left. And he'll confirm that TaeJa is nowhere to be found. TaeJa is going for a Rax Expand, standard opener out of our Terran. As he goes to the SCV scouts. Once again, looking for Rogue. And so now we are going to be settling in. You have Rogue just expanding, just droning. He has, let's go, he has learned from that previous game, getting his initial sunken colony. Investing in side defense, which is that much more important here for Brood Wars Rogue. Side defense is on the way. Oof. As Rogue keeps rushing into the lair. With such a fast lair timing, this could once again be 2-base Muta. This could just be 2-base Muta here out of Rogue. I believe we have seen him embrace that in the past. TaeJa going for a third CC before Starport. Economic opener here out of TaeJa going for 3 CC 2-on-1 actually though. Okay. Is going for an earlier stim timing. Should be massing up those Marines. And we'll see if TaeJa can keep up with Rogue. There's a Spire, as you mentioned, fast lair, screams, fast Spire. The other scary thing for TaeJa is that he has no scouts. The reason for this, if you notice, there's no Reaper Cliff. There's no Reaper Cliff into the main base. There's no Reaper Cliff into the natural either. So your initial Reaper opener has very limited scouting because of the wall-off, because of the sunken colony. Zero scouting from TaeJa. He has no idea. He has no idea what's going on. He can try to just rush past, but there are Lings in position. At this point, I do feel like it'd be wise to scan. And there it is. Does scan. Does scan the main. Does get eyes on the Spire. Now he knows. Whew. Thankfully he does scan. So with that, TaeJa can throw down some turrets. He can get his side defense ready. eBay has begun. And now he's aware that mutas are coming. He's aware. 6 mutas on the way. eBay just not finishing. We need those turrets. We need those. I mean, he has Marines to work with us too, but there we go. We have 1 turret to cover the production, 1 turret into the main, and 1 turret into the natural. These mutas are moving out. We have we have a Ling distraction as well. Lings, they poke in, they distract the Marines, and mutas, they hit the main. Hit the main base, getting an SEV. One worker so far. And behind this, switching to Lurker Tech. Okay, so initially it was a Muta opener into Lurkers. Yo, Rogue, he knows how to play some Brood Wars Rogue. Okay. Let's go. He is aware. Heli Ramai gets 4 drone kills, not bad. So Hellion does fine damage. At the same time, these mutas, they haven't really done much, but they have contained TaeJa, right? TaeJa, he's contained, he's stuck on 2 bases, trying to keep up, trying to defend. TaeJa, despite opening up 3rd CC, he has no 3rd base. He hasn't landed it, I should say. Not looking bad. Slings, they attempt to break through the front door. Ooh, they attempt to. TaeJa trying to keep up. And on the one hand, TaeJa, he will have a bit of a power spike when he pushes, but alas, he has no answer to the Lurkers. Lurkers are going to be a big problem here for TaeJa. As is being pulled apart. Yeah, 13 SCVs going down. Well, as the gas guys are still contained on 2 bases. From here, Rogue, he can freely drone. He should be droning up a little bit harder. He's still staying on a very low worker count. Jesus, Rogue, he's being hyper aggressive here. More lurkers are morphing in, and he's pushing. Rogue, he just wants to kill. He doesn't need to. He could just drone and just get further ahead. Meanwhile, TaeJa moving out with his triple drop. And we're going for a pseudo base trade here. As TaeJa will kill one of the bases, but at the same time, Rogue, I don't think he cares. He's moving in. Oh, he does care. Yeah, he does care. He turns everything back around. Rogue, he's racing back home. He doesn't commit. So I'll leave behind the lurkers. And Rogue, he will shut this down. They go collapsing on the Marines. The Marines, they do trade very nicely. But they get cleaned up anyway. They trade well against the Lings, but the Mutas will clean up. Rogue, he saves the expansion. He didn't have any mini drones to begin with. GG gets called, and with that, we're going all the way to the ace match. TaeJa, he was successfully contained on 2 bases. He could not break out. He could not expand. He had a very hard time defending. And with that, we're going to the ace match. Oh boy. We are going to the ace match here. We're going all the way to game 7 as Rogue. Can he pull off the reverse sweep, winning 3 games in a row? Onomas, 1 more game is all he needs. And I'll be honest, after the start, I'll be honest, I thought that TaeJa was just going to 4-0. But he chose to go for the 1 base all-in on Neo Azul Siren. We also saw TaeJa, he just had a very hard time keeping up with Rogue with those mutas. He couldn't punish the muta play either. And now we're getting into game number 7, the final game of the series. It all ends here. It all ends on Purity and Industry as spawning. And on the top side of Purity Industry, we have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran, the Brood War Terran. It is TaeJa. And spawning in the bottom right-hand side, we have as opponent, we have the SE2 Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg for Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Here we go. The pressure is now on TaeJa. Rogue, momentum is on his side, winning 3 games in a row. Onomas is all he needs. 1 more game here. And I do appreciate that TaeJa, he has gotten back into Brood War Terran, going back into what he does best. CC first. CC first out of TaeJa. Again, when it comes to the power spikes for Rogue, like they take a lot longer to get into. I'm referring to Lurker Tech, for example. We shouldn't be seeing 2 base muta here either. We do have slow zones that do cover the bases. Should deter muta play. But we'll see. As we have a standard opener. In a way, hatch pull into late gas. It looks like with the later gas guys, Rogue may just once again go into roaches. We've been seeing a lot of roach play out of Rogue when he plays SE2, and we might see it here as well. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Holy Lime 23. Happy God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for subscribing for 31 months. That's a lot of months, Papi. That's a lot of months. Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. Always, Papi, always. We do appreciate it. As TaeJa is going for his 3 racks. We have 2 racks on the way, eBay for +1 into the academy, into a 3rd racks, into a strong stim timing. Meanwhile, Rogue once again is getting into roach play. Fun fact, I do actually think that Rogue, he's a little bit weaker in this kind of game state just because he's trying to react to his opponent instead of being the one who has momentum, who is the aggressor. Isn't really applicable here to Rogue. Applicable even. This was one. There's the academy. So stim is on the way. TaeJa building up to that. Rogue will see how early he throws down the Warren. My biggest criticism of Rogue on Pylon, if you recall, was how long it took for Rogue to drone. It took him a long time to drone up, so he fell behind. Going lair first. Uh-oh. Wait, what? What have we seen? Rogue, he hasn't seen much yet, but he's going lair first. Then goes down. Now going into roaches. He's joining up a little bit better than last time, thankfully. Yeah, it's a later roach warren, lair first. So from here we drone. We drone up as much as we can on 2 bases. We get our 3rd base up. And roaches should be coming out in time. This is looking cleaner so far. If we can get the roaches out there. that's going to be the big thing. Evo chambers on the way. Overlord will scout the move out. We'll scout the army. Overlord goes down. Nice pickoff. There's a double scan. Does confirm the roaches. Roach production should be commencing. Rogue is supply blocked. Uh-oh. Rogue is supply blocked. Boys are being pulled. TaeJa, can he kill Rogue here and now? It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. The roaches are going to be popping out just in time. Oh, no, he cancels the spine. No, he doesn't know. He doesn't see the boys. He doesn't see Pappy. Cancels the spine crawler. Can he still defend if he doesn't drone? He's investing in the upgrades. They're not going to help. They're not going to be a part of this. The supply block was brutal. Rogue, he needs roaches. The stars are aligning for TaeJa. Can he pull this off? He's rushing in. He stims. He wants the queens. And we don't get the transfuse. Gets 1, gets 2 queens so far. The boys are being pulled. Gets a 3rd queen. Every queen is going down. And TaeJa, he's done it. TaeJa, he has done it. He breaks through. I say that we have a couple of roaches trickling in to try to defend. But TaeJa has control of the natural. And again, Rogue, he didn't see it coming. He didn't confirm the all-in. I say that, TaeJa, he's running out of Marines. TaeJa, is he running out of steam? Rogue, up. It's so close. Rogue, he's holding on. Yeah, TaeJa's going for worker kills. Going for economic damage. And with that, Rogue holds. Rogue, he holds, he survives. +1 carapace is cancelled. Oh, so +1 was cancelled, but Roach speed will complete. And now Rogue is going for the counterattack. Back at home, what does TaeJa have? Remember, no tanks, no factory, no tanks, no tank production. He's massing up his bio. We'll need a bunker to defend. Now, Rogue, he's down to 17 drones. His economy is non-existent. His economy was crippled, but he has a massive army. TaeJa, can he hold? Nice target firing. Does focus down as many roaches as he can. He pulls back to the bunker. That was 5 roaches going down. And TaeJa, he is holding on. And behind this, he has the far superior economy. Rogue, he's all in. He has to break through, but he can't. Yeah, he cannot break through. They're losing so many roaches. Ay. Down to 1 roach. 1 roach left. That was 12 roaches going down versus 12 Marines. A 1-to-1 trade. And with that, Rogue, the counterattack fails. And Rogue falls behind. Remember, he cancelled +1 carapace to defend to survive earlier. He lost so many workers. And TaeJa's doing it. Yeah, siege mode. Siege mode is done. 3rd CC is on the way. TaeJa getting further ahead. TaeJa does fan out. TaeJa does overextend here. Rogue will punish. Not bad. Rogue, he does punish the move out. Behind the storm, still not even saturated at the natural. Still heavily undersaturated. But he's got his roaches. So again, TaeJa got to play it slow. Got to play it safe. Getting his turret base saturated. getting to a starport. With that, he can start working towards science vessels. And there's no rush. Right now, there's just no rush for TaeJa. We just calm things down, build up. Scanner reveals late third. Scanner reveals undersaturated natural. Again, TaeJa confirms that he just has to calm down. Calm down, calm down. No need to take risks. No need to be overly aggressive. As we're not going into science vessels yet, we're going to be opening up with a Wraith. Interesting. Science facility is done. TaeJa is still sharking around with his forces. Back at home, he does have a solid wall of tanks, but now he has no buffer for the tanks just because he's being active. That could be a concern. As TaeJa is going to port Mass Wraith. Okay. Okay. TaeJa's having fun. With this, he can hunt down overlords. He can snipe key units as well. But interesting. Diverting from the norm, diverting from science vessels. Okay. I mean, I do think that TaeJa's far enough ahead where he can kind of be a little bit more diverse in his play and be a little bit more exploratory. It's fine. Does TaeJa play StarCraft 1 competitively or just these fun games? He plays SE Evo competitively. Doesn't compete in StarCraft 1. TaeJa competes in StarCraft Evolution, not in Brood War. And he started competing again in SE2 this week, or last week, basically. For the past 7 days, I want to say, for around 7 days' time, TaeJa, he has started competing in StarCraft 2 again. But it's a very recent thing. He played in this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup, and he also played in this week's Wardy TV Monday. As Race they come in, they snipe the first two infestors. As you mentioned, you can come in, you can snipe some key units. The same way you use Banshees in this kind of setup as well, in this kind of scenario. Just go in, snipe the infestors, deny any fungals. And TaeJa snowballing out of control from here. He's pushing in. Does move in once again, just targeting down those Ravagers, and TaeJa, he will not be stopped. GG gets caught, and TaeJa, he will take this series 4-3, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, TaeJa. He does claim the series. A very impressive result here. Things are looking even better for TaeJa earlier. Again, I was expecting a 4-0, but there were a couple of key moments where TaeJa did slip up and maybe got overconfident. I'm referring to Holy World. Holy World was the beginning of the comeback from Rogue, where he was able to recover. TaeJa, he had a unique one-base all-in on the island map on Neo Azul Siren, but again, he got scattered immediately, he got shut down, and we saw TaeJa struggle and still fit against the two-base Muta. It was a late scout of the two-base Muta, but TaeJa just struggled to expand, to build out. He was stuck on two bases, but then he was able to get into what he does best. Brood War Terran here in the ace match. Here we did see that unfortunately Rogue, he didn't scout. He didn't see that Nolan was coming. If you remember, he was getting a spine crawler and he canceled the spine crawler when he believed he didn't need it, when he did. Remember, he was taking up getting into an Eva chamber into +1 carapace. He was not ready for the all-in, and it was still quite close. He still survived, but it cost him all those workers. He lost like 27 drones. His economy was crippled, and alas, he just had no follow-up from there. GG well played. Unfortunately, Rogue, he was unable to see out. Despite that, really impressive performance here by Rogue, in the sense that Rogue, he's very unfamiliar with StarCraft Evolution. He was freestyling quite a bit, not gonna lie, especially in the group stage, and even a little bit here as well, against TaeJa early on in the first couple of games. Like, it did seem like Rogue was kind of stumbling in the dark a little bit as to what would and what would not work, especially game 1 and game 2 and game 3 as well. So yeah, Rogue, he was still trying to figure out StarCraft Evolution, and still is. As we mentioned before, there are certain players that are less familiar, there are others that are very experienced. TaeJa is one of those that is very experienced in SE Evo, so we expect him to go far. Meanwhile, who's going to be his opponents? Oh boy, it's going to be a wild one here. Up next, we have a PvP between Classic and Creator. You can see TaeJa does advance onto the finals. Up next is going to be Classic versus Creator in a best of 7. Coming into this, Classic is the favored player to win the entire tournament. Classic, he is the best Protoss player in all of StarCraft Evolution. Who's the best Terran? Who's the best Zerg? I would have said Bjorn and Shin, to be honest. But Shin got knocked out early. He got knocked out early on in the group stage. Bjorn got taken out by Creator. So now everything's kind of in the air, and I still don't know how to place Creator. Creator, he's one of those players that only recently started competing in StarCraft Evolution, but he's been playing quite a lot. He's been playing a lot of SE Evo. He's been playing a lot of show matches in the weeklies, of course, in the league itself, and Creator has been looking very impressive. For Creator to defeat Bjorn, that was a big win. That was a big win for Creator. So can Creator go further? Can he be the one to stop Classic? Can anyone stop Classic? Let's find out.